So, let's have process costing. So, we have here an illustrative problem, pero mamaya na to. Alright? So, let's talk about first the concepts on the process costing. So, again, our topic for tonight is process costing. So, process costing, theory muna, number one, process costing is used as a costing system for manufacturing entities producing homogeneous products. So meaning kanang similar na mga products ang gina-produce. So we have some examples like canned goods. Aside from canned goods, we have sa may lain kanang mga packed na mga goods, mga noodles and etc. Those are homogeneous products. So process costing system ang ginagamit for this manufacturing entities. Right? So, ang job order costing, it's different from this one. It's because the job order cost system is used for customized products. Okay? Number two that you need to understand on the process costing is the meaning really of process costing system. So, it is a system of assigning costs to the work in process, so yung mga hindi natapos, and transferred out units. Or what was finished by a certain department of a manufacturing department. So, let's elaborate on this one. It's as if we have a manufacturing department. Of course, this manufacturing department will incur costs because what do we call this? Department 1. So this particular department will incur costs. Again, will incur costs. And what are these costs? That is, those are the direct materials, direct labor, and factory overhead. So, if you have costs as a manufacturing department, the question really sa process costing is, how are you going to assign these costs to work in process and those items that were not finished by the department and the finished goods. Actually, maugyud ni ang pinakaunod sa process costing or transferred out units. Anong transferred out man? Because if Department 1 finishes the units, it will then be transferred to another department. So, in this case, Department 1's finished goods are considered as transferred out units because it's not yet really finished. Alright? So, that's the question. Sometimes, there are twists. What are the twists? So, wala na human, naay nawala, and nawala ng hindi inaasahan. So, that is the only twist, normal loss and abnormal loss. So again, the main problem of the process costing is this one. This is an explanation of number 2. Again, the process costing system is a system of assigning costs. What are those costs? These costs to the work in process end and transferred out units generally. Okay? But sometimes, there are also costs that are attributable to normal loss units and abnormal loss units. So what's the difference between these two? These normal loss units are already expected and has already happened siguro in the past of the company. na yung mga normal loss. Ang abnormal, it's unexpected. That's why it's considered as abnormal. Nagets? So, maulagid na ang atuang goal. It's to assign this cost. Okay na? Yes. So, aside from these two, number 3 that you need to understand is that we have a flow of units. Flow of units here. Or process. Kaya kini step by step naman ni siya. Mula ginaani ang flow of units. First, sa Department 1, mag-work siya og units, mga 10,000 units. As soon as ma-finish niya ang 10,000 units, that will be transferred out to Department 2. And if Department 2 finishes 8,000, it will be transferred to another department, and so on. So this is logical, tama? But the twist here is that if Department 1 finished 10,000 units, the cost of those 10,000 units, which is known as transferred out cost, will then be accepted by the Department 2. So not only the units are being transferred to the subsequent department, but also the cost incurred by the previous department. So in the case of Department 2, they will be considered as transferred in cost. Okay? And then if Department 2 finishes 8,000 units and transferred it to Department 3, for example, not only the units are physically transferred to Department 3, but also the cost incurred by both Department 1 and Department 2. So meaning, murag cumulative ang maadto na cost kan Department 3. Nagets ba? So this is unlike job order cost system. Kaya kung daghay departments pod ang isa ka manufacturing entity, but they are using job order cost system, there is no need to transfer the cost. Ilang ang ilista para ni sa job 1. Ang ilang nagastos, direct materials, direct labor, at factory overhead. Para ni sa job 2, na sila yung mga job cost sheets, di ba? So, pag nahuman sila, ilan ang i-transfer dito? Pwede na nila dili i-appeal ang cost sa job 1. After all, si Department 2 mag-inaanak man sa job 1. Kung sayang nagastos. Si Department 3, job 1 also. Kay ilaha man ang gisegregate each job. Because sa job order cost system, the costs are accumulated per job. So, in the end, bisang pagwa kabalo si Department 2, unsay nagastos ni Department 1, kang job 1. Makuha ba ang cost ng job 1? Yes. Ipang-atla ang mga nagastos nila for job 1. Tama? But in the process costing, it's not the case. Why? Again, aside from the units, it will be transferred to the subsequent department. Also the costs. So the costs of those transferred to another department is considered as transferred out cost. And transferred in cost sa eyes ng subsequent department. Ang cost na i-transfer by the previous department. Agad ba? So, mao na siya ang flow. So, ang number 4 na akong isulti sa inyo is all about how do you make this happen? How do you assign the cost to the working process end, finished goods end, or transferred out units, the normal loss units and abnormal loss units? How do you do that? For example, this is 1 million. So how will you know that 100,000 should go to the working process end and 900,000 should go to the finished goods end or transferred out units? Kung sa'yo tawagan 100 and 900, assuming that there are no normal loss and abnormal loss. How are you going to compute this? So, ang sila na sa ni number 4 na kinahanglan ninyo mahibalaan. So, this is going to be divided among these 4, if ever they are present, based on equivalent units of production or EUP. So what's the concept of this EUP? So this EUP is number of units naman eh. No, so dali na kayo pag finished goods, 1 unit ni finished good is equivalent to 1 EUP. Because the finished good or transferred out, in the case of Department 1, for example, is 100% as to materials, 100% as to conversion cost, or direct labor plus factory overhead. Diba? So, finished goods, 1 unit is equivalent to 1 EUP. Ano sa kadali? Ang problema mang good sa EUP is when we talk about work in process. Why? This work in process are not finished. It's not the same with the finished goods. Tama? For example, you have 10,000 units of work in process ending. But as to materials, they are only 50% complete. And as to conversion, they are 75% complete. So, there is already a problem sa EUP because you cannot say that each work in process end na unit is 1 EUP. Diba? So, what are you going to do? So, ang EUP ani is 10,000 as to materials times 50%. As to materials is 5,000 units. So, what's the meaning of this? Instead na muingon ka that the work in process end is 10,000 units, you can already say that the work in process end is as if 5,000 units na kompleto. As if lang. Okay? And we have the conversion cost. So, 75% complete, you can say that the work in process end is 7,500 as if complete. Now, if you got the EUP, that will become the basis of dividing the cost into in process end to finished goods end or transferred out units, normal loss units, and abnormal loss units. So again, what is the basis on how to distribute this total cost that was incurred by Department 1? The basis is the EUP. Gets? So how do we get the EUP? The EUP is again, if that is finished goods, how many units are in the finished goods? That's already the EUP because they are 100% complete. The problem is with the work in process ending because they are not really complete. Like for this example, 10,000 units as to materials, 50% complete lang, then that means 10,000 times 50%, the EUP is only 5,000. So, what is the meaning of this 5,000? This work in process end, instead that you are going to say the 10,000 units are 50% complete, so you're just going to translate that, which is this 10,000 units na 50% complete is as if 5,000 units na complete. And as to conversion cost, we have 75% complete. Instead of saying 10,000 units ang work in process end, pero 75% complete. Pwede na lang kamuingon, 10,000 times 75%. The work in process end is 7,500 units as if completed. Okay? So, sir, why is this different? The materials and the conversion cost in a work in process ending or in an inventory, they vary because it depends upon the process of the company kung saan nila pag-complete ang products. There are products na punuan kaagad nila ng materials before pa i-convert. So, meaning, the materials are 100% complete kaagad. The conversion is not yet 100% complete. So, this is depending on the process of the company as to when are they going to put materials and when are they going to put direct labor and factory overhead. Okay? So, those are the four that you are going to understand muna before we go to the process costing itself. Okay? The first one, the process costing is pwede lang sa homogeneous products or similar products. And number 2, the process costing system is just a system of assigning the direct materials, direct labor, factory overhead incurred by department, a manufacturing department, to work in process and transferred out units or ang natapos, and sometimes sa mga loss, mga normal loss, kanang gi-expect, and abnormal loss which was not expected. So that's the process lang. So that's the purpose of this particular topic. And that the flow of units of process costing is from department to one. The units will be transferred to the subsequent department, but also the costs. It will be transported also to another department until sa last department, nag-cumulate ang mga costs. Okay? So, transferred out cost na siya. In the case of the transferring department or the previous department, sa receiving department or subsequent department, it is considered as transferred in cost. So, that's the flow of units. And as to answering how to distribute this current cost incurred by the manufacturing department, the basis for dividing this as if 1 million is the equivalent units of production. So, that's part 1.